Number 1. Pamela Smart. Pamela Smart was only 22 years old. She worked as a lively media coordinator at a high school in New Hampshire. She had just married her high school boyfriend, Greg Smart. But Greg was cheating on her. Feeling sad and alone, Pamela wanted someone to talk to and ended up getting close to a 15-year-old student named Billy Flynn. Pamela began a secret affair with Billy. She didn't just flirt, she seduced him, emotionally and physically. Soon, Pamela started planting dark ideas in Billy's mind. She convinced him that if Greg were out of the picture, they could finally be together. On May 1st, 1990, Greg Smart came home and walked into a death trap. Two of Billy's friends were waiting, and one of them had a gun. They made Greg kneel down and then shot him like it was a planned hit. Meanwhile, Pamela made sure she was at a school meeting, crafting the perfect alibi. At first, Greg's murder seemed like a total mystery. No clues, no suspects. But soon, the truth started to come out. One of the teens involved cracked under pressure and confessed. That led police straight to Billy Flynn. And Billy, he didn't hold back. He told police that Pamela had pushed him to kill Greg. She told him to prove his love by getting rid of her husband. To catch Pamela, police had one of her friends wear a hidden wire. In the secret recording, Pamela laughed nervously, avoided straight answers, and said just enough to make her look guilty. Not long after, Pamela was arrested and charged with planning the murder, helping it happen, and trying to cover it up. Her trial was shown live on TV. It was one of the first court cases to turn into a full-blown media frenzy. People couldn't look away. Was she a cold, calculating mastermind? Or just a young woman caught in a scandal? In 1991, Pamela Smart was found guilty and sentenced to life in prison with no chance of parole. She's still behind bars today, more than 30 years later, at Bedford Hills Correctional Facility in New York. As for Billy Flynn, he served his time and walked free in 2015. The case was so shocking, it inspired books, documentaries, and even a Hollywood movie, To Die For, starring Nicole Kidman. To this day, Pamela insists she's innocent, but the jury, and most of the public, didn't believe her. This wasn't just a murder case. It was the beginning of true crime as entertainment, way before Netflix made it a trend. Number 2. Carla Hughes. Carla Hughes was only 25, a bright and ambitious middle school teacher in Jackson, Mississippi. She was working hard on her graduate degree and seemed to have her whole future ahead of her. But behind the scenes, things weren't as perfect as they looked. Carla was secretly involved with another teacher, Keon Pittman. The problem was, Keon was engaged, and to a woman named Avis Banks, who was pregnant at the time. Then, something shocking happened. On November 29, 2006, Avis was attacked in her own garage. She was shot 4 times and stabbed brutally. Tragically, her unborn baby died with her. At first, everyone suspected Keon, but he quickly pointed the finger at Carla. Soon, strange details started to surface. Carla was acting oddly. Some clothes went missing, and a gun was stolen. Even though the murder weapon was never found, the police and prosecutors believed Carla was driven by jealousy and had planned the attack. In 2009, Carla was convicted of 2 counts of capital murder and sentenced to life in prison without parole. Now, she's still behind bars, insisting she's innocent. But her appeals haven't worked. So here's the question. Was this a crime of passion? Or was it a cold, calculated move? Number 3. Jacqueline Ma. Jacqueline Ma was a 6th grade teacher at Lincoln Acres Elementary School in Southern California. She had earned the title of Teacher of the Year, and everyone thought she was a wonderful educator. But behind that respected image, something dark was happening. In March 2023, everything came crashing down. The family of a 13-year-old former student came forward, reporting that Jacqueline had been sending inappropriate messages. When the police looked into it, they found texts that revealed emotional manipulation. Jacqueline used possessive and romantic language, and even showed jealousy over the boy's friends and interactions. Shockingly, this all started while he was still her student. Jacqueline was arrested on March 7, 2023. She faced serious felony charges including misconduct with a minor, unlawful communication, and abuse of authority. Just days later, things got worse. Evidence involving a second student came out, and her bail was raised to a staggering $1.9 million. She was charged with more than a dozen offenses, including sending harmful material to a child. At first, Jacqueline pleaded not guilty, but later, she accepted a plea deal. In 2024, she was sentenced to 30 years to life in prison. Her teaching career was over. Now, Jacqueline is serving time in a California state correctional facility. Her case has sparked important conversations about how schools train teachers and the need for better digital monitoring to protect students. It stands as a powerful warning about what can happen when trust is broken in the most serious way. Number 4. Carolyn Warmus was a teacher at Edgemont Elementary School in New York. She was bright and educated, having graduated from Columbia University. But her life took a dark turn when she began an affair with a married man named Paul Solomon, who worked with her. Their relationship grew intense, but Paul refused to leave his wife, Betty Jean. Then, something terrible happened. On January 15, 1989, Betty Jean was found shot 9 times in her own home. It was a brutal crime that pointed to jealousy and passion. Police soon focused on Carolyn. They discovered she had bought a handgun that matched the murder weapon, and gloves were found near the scene. Even though no one saw the crime happen, the evidence piled up. Carolyn's nervous behavior and suspicious phone calls made her look guilty. Her first trial ended with the jury unable to agree, but in her second trial, she was convicted of second-degree murder and illegal weapon possession. Carolyn was sentenced to 25 years to life in prison. She always said she was innocent, claiming Paul was the one responsible. After spending 27 years behind bars at Bedford Hills Correctional Facility, Carolyn was finally paroled in 2019. Her case grabbed a lot of attention, partly because of the obsession involved and how the media covered it. Even today, people still debate what really happened. Was it a crime of passion or something more? Number 5. Nancy Seaman was a 52-year-old elementary school teacher from Farmington Hills, Michigan. People knew her as a dedicated teacher, someone who cared about her job and her family. But everything changed in 2004 when her life took a dark and shocking turn. On May 10th of that year, Nancy called 911 and told them she had found her husband, Robert, dead in their garage. He had multiple wounds, and it was clear something violent had happened. But as the police investigated, they found strange clues. Nancy had recently bought a hatchet and a shovel, and it seemed like she had tried to clean up the crime scene. Nancy said she acted in self-defense, claiming years of domestic abuse had pushed her to the breaking point. But prosecutors believed this was something planned. They pointed to the purchases and the nature of the attack as signs of premeditation. In 2005, Nancy was convicted of first-degree murder and sentenced to life in prison without the chance of parole. Her lawyers argued she was a battered woman who acted to protect herself, but the court didn't accept that defense. A few years later, in 2010, a federal court briefly overturned her conviction because of issues with her legal representation, but it was quickly reinstated. Nancy's case sparked important conversations about domestic abuse and how the law deals with it. It's a complicated story where personal pain and the legal system collided in a way that still makes people think. Number 6. Caitlin Armstrong was once known as a yoga instructor in Austin, Texas. Calm, centered, and living a quiet life. Or so it seemed. But in 2022, her name made headlines for something far more chilling. Cyclist Anna Mariah Wilson had come to town for a race. She was staying at a friend's house, focused on her sport and preparing for the event. But one night, everything changed. Anna was found shot to death inside that home. Police began digging, and all signs started pointing to Caitlin. She was dating another cyclist, Colin Strickland. And here's where it gets complicated. Colin had a past romantic relationship with Anna, a connection Caitlin was well aware of. Surveillance footage, text messages, and forensic evidence all painted a picture. The gun used in the shooting matched one owned by Caitlin. Investigators believed jealousy was the motive. But before she could be arrested, Caitlin vanished. She used a fake passport and ran all the way to Costa Rica. For 43 days, she was off the grid, living under a new identity. Her time on the run finally ended when authorities tracked her down and brought her back to the U.S. In 2023, Caitlin was found guilty of first-degree murder. She was sentenced to 90 years in prison, though she'll be eligible for parole later in life. This case shook the public, not just because of the crime, but because of how far someone would go when jealousy takes over. It's a powerful reminder that emotions, if left unchecked, can lead to devastating choices. And in this case, a promising young athlete lost her life far too soon. These stories show just how deep betrayal and violence can run, especially when they come from people we trust the most. From teachers to caregivers, these women broke the very trust they were given, using manipulation, obsession, and cold calculation to destroy lives. What do you think about these cases? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to tell us where you're watching from. Stay safe out there, and we'll catch you next time.